Today on TimesCast.
After nearly 9 years, America's war in Iraq will be over.
President Obama announces the withdrawal of all American troops from Iraq by the end of the year. With the death of Colonel Muammar el-Qaddafi, NATO completes its mandate and mission. And as more violent videos of Colonel Gaddafi's capture and killing circulate, a psychologist explains why many can't turn away.
President Obama announced Friday that the United States will withdraw its last soldiers from Iraq by the end of this year, bringing to an official end a nearly 9-year military engagement that has cost the lives of 4,400 American soldiers more than $1 trillion and changed fundamentally the place the United States occupies in the world. The Defense Department felt it was important that for a force of 3,000 to 5,000 trainers to remain in Iraq and train Iraqi troops, they needed to have immunity from legal prosecution. Iraq's parliament was refusing to grant that. The timing of the president's announcement gave it particular resonance. It came less than a day after the death of Colonel Muammar Gadhafi, which marks the end of another military operation, the NATO air campaign in Libya.
The coming months will be another season of homecomings.
This comes on the heels of several successes in going after al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups. So for President Obama, this both delivers on something he had promised during the 2008 campaign, and it gives him another important foreign policy victory in what is becoming a longer list of achievements the president has had in the foreign policy arena.
As NATO's mission in Libya is complete, did it meet or exceed its mandate?
The principal mission of NATO's air campaign in Libya over the last 7 months was to protect civilians on the ground from attack from the Libyan government forces. NATO continuously stressed they were not targeting individual leaders, specifically Gaddafi, but also said they were targeting command and control centers, and if Gaddafi or one of his sons happened to be there, well, so be it. It's clear that NATO played a significant role in attacking a convoy that was carrying Gaddafi. The attack itself caused great chaos and forced Gaddafi out of the car, in which some of his fighters apparently engaged in some kind of battle with the former rebel forces that also had been monitoring the movements of the convoy. The NATO mission provides an interesting model. It's a limited model, however, for future conflicts. On the one hand, what it did show was that the NATO chain of command has been refined enough, particularly since the Kosovo Air War of the late 1990s, that when the NATO countries decide they are going to intervene, they can do it much faster than they did back in the Balkan Wars. What it does show also, though, is that many of the other NATO countries and their militaries are still quite dependent on American military support to carry out these operations. The United States provided the bulk of the precision-guided munitions, the surveillance aircraft, and the air refueling planes to make this operation as successful as it was. At the same time, the Libyan enemy was very quickly isolated by this air campaign, so this approach might not work as well against a more formidable foe.
We're not going to play all of it, but just about 10 seconds. A warning, it is graphic.
They are disturbing. Let's show you.
And gruesome videos of Colonel Gaddafi's final moments are playing and replaying on television and on the web.
I haven't seen it yet myself. All three of us, let's watch it.
Stuart Fischoff is a psychologist who specializes in media research.
There's a basic human morbid interest in things. We people who stop and look at automobile crashes. It's not as though we have a sense of the morbid curiosity for no good reason at all. It's that it gives us information and it trains us how to cope with our own imminent death or the deaths of people who are close to us. I think that people have reactions to looking at the death throes or the death of Gaddafi because they know what he's done. They understand his history. The conflict is that when you just look at this disconnected body, this decontextualized body, you see simply a human being who's being brutalized, beaten, broken, and you don't have the immediate reminders of the reign of terror that he wreaked upon his population. Once your brain kicks in and reminds you of what it is that he's done, then your empathy and sympathy for him tend to dissipate, and you focus more upon your reasonable mind rather than your emotional brain. When we're talking about pictures of dictators, whether it's Gaddafi, whether it's Benito Mussolini, If you are a loyalist, then your reaction might be, why are they showing these horrible pictures of him? And if you are a person who suffered under him, or you were a revolutionary, as is happening now in the Arab Spring, your reaction tends to be more of a celebration of death, even though part of you might feel that this is wrong. I think the emotional passion wins out over a sense of morality.